Hey guys, Stanley7 here, and today I wanted to do an impressions video on the new Apex update. And this one is kind of a weird one, kind of a mixed one for me. And from what we played last night, I think I played duos with Matt for like 6 hours or something like that. It was pretty long. We had a pretty good session, then played ranked for maybe like a little over an hour or something like that. Interestingly enough, and I kind of wish that I did, but we didn't. I don't think we touched regular trios at all, from what I can remember. I'm pretty sure we didn't even touch it. So, little kind of missed out a little bit there. Wanted to try trios, see if it felt any different. I don't think it would. I don't see why it would, but I don't know. It would have been cool to try it on the other maps. Like I haven't really played Kings Canyon that much in the recent events where it's come back, and obviously I haven't until tonight. I hadn't played ranked this season that much, so I haven't played like Kings Canyon trios or Kings Canyon After Dark trios or something like that, and it would have been interesting to try that. So kind of missed out there. Probably should have tried it for this full impression, but to be honest, same time, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. I think trios should play pretty similarly, you would think, but you never know. Anyways, we tried duos for 6 hours and somewhere around there, and it was pretty frustrating, to be honest. I don't know what it was, but this was literally the most frustrating Apex sesh. I'm not even exaggerating that I've had since maybe like pre-season 3. Pretty much since season 3, I've had a pretty consistent experience on Apex, and it's been the most consistent that it's been, and I've been having a lot more fun with the game again on a consistent basis. That is what the game lacked. Season 1 to 2, in my opinion, was consistency. Like sometimes it'd be really fun, and sometimes it would just be like a drag to play the game. Whereas season 3 and 4, for the most part, that's completely erased. Like it's pretty fun, and it's generally fun, and frustrating games were like few and far between, and you could always reset, and the resets wouldn't be like as frustrating. A lot of the really annoying like bugs and balance issues and stuff like that had been patched out, and all that stuff combined led to a much more consistent experience and led to me having a lot more fun with the game. I've been enjoying season 3 and season 4 a lot, and season 4 is probably my favorite season. So I think we'll try to play more tonight because maybe it's just a fluke, but last night, I swear, was like the least fun I've had in this game, again, since like pre-season 3. And if you think about it, that's a long time. Season 3 was like September, from what I can remember. So it's been like a good half a year at this point over that. So like season 3 to 4, it's been a long period of time. It's probably easy to forget how freaking long season 3 was. Season 3, I swear, was like 4 months or something like that. It was at least 3. I think it was longer than 3. So, and of course, we're almost to the end of season 4 here. So it's been a long time. So the fact that this session was just like so frustrating, it was kind of weird. I don't know if they changed something with the skill-based matchmaking, because duos was not as sweaty when I had tried it in the limited time modes previously, because they had added duos in as a limited time mode a few times in the past. It was not this bad, but it legitimately felt like I was playing ranked at least like a diamond to masters level consistently. Maybe like a few or like a couple exceptions, but for the most part, that's what it felt like we were playing. I don't know if it was just because it was the first day that it was added, or if we just had really bad luck or something like that, but every time we tried the limited time duos, it was not this sweaty. So I don't know what was going on with that, but that was making things really frustrating. Like we were trying, that's why we went to ranked, because we were like, you know what, if it's going to be like this, let's just play ranked. Like if it's going to be like this, might as well get something out of it, you know what I mean? So that's why we ended up switching to ranked. So we'll try it again tonight. I'll try it again throughout the week, because I was really excited for duos to get added in permanently. And at the end of the day, I still think it's really cool that duos is in permanently. I don't want to undersell that. I don't want to underappreciate that. This is something that I wanted in Apex for a long time, like probably since the game has come out, to be honest. Like, man, duos would probably work pretty well in this game. And then it took a while for them to add duos, and when they added duos, it was like, wow, duos works pretty well in this game. They should have duos in the regular. And then it took a while for them to add that, but now it's here. So I want to try it some more. I want to give it some more shots and see if that was just like an unlucky sesh or something like that, because duos could be a really fun addition to the game. And I mean, in a way, I think duos could be better than trios in this game. The one way in which duos suffers, and this was probably the biggest frustration that we had, is there were so many situations where we legitimately, and I don't know if it was just, maybe we had a better time looting on World's Edge. So here's where like it gets kind of tough with the map rotation. Let's dial it back a little bit here. So in this update, along with like the regular duos full time, another thing that they added in is they wanted people to be able to play the new maps, or the variety of maps. So you got World's Edge, you have the dark or nighttime version of Kings Canyon After Dark, and you've got regular Kings Canyon. So what they do now, I don't remember what the exact times are. I think it might be like 2 hours. Might be 2 hours every 2 hours. I don't remember exactly. But there's a timer, and every time that timer resets, you're playing a different map. You're queuing into a different map. So it'll be like World's Edge for like 2 hours. It'll be Kings Canyon for like 2 hours. It'll be Kings Canyon After Dark for like 2 hours, and it just keeps rotating. And I'll get to my opinions on that in a second. But the reason this makes it like hard to evaluate things for the modes is that Kings Canyon, no surprise here, Kings Canyon and World's Edge play pretty differently on duos versus trios. So like World's Edge duos felt like we didn't have that much of a problem looting for the most part. Like if we got kills, if we killed a squad, we could go ahead and we could loot them, and we didn't have much of an issue with that. Kings Canyon, on the other hand, in trios, like, yes, sometimes it'd be pretty difficult, but usually there'd be a lull in the fight at some point. There would be the ridiculous, like, 8th party fights, not even exaggerating, like 8th party fights on Kings Canyon and trios, but for the most part, it would settle out at a certain point. You'd be able to loot up and whatnot. However, duos on Kings Canyon, there are so many situations where we legitimately cannot loot our boxes. We just can't loot them. Like by the time we get a chance to loot them, the zone has already moved, and we've got to be out. We've got to be on the move to the next circle, and there's just so many situations where we just were not able to get any loot, and it got pretty frustrating because I like duos, and I think the 2-on-2 fights maybe feel a little bit better than trios, but man, not being able to loot was so frustrating. I can't exaggerate it enough. If you went through and watched the VOD, there were legitimately times where we'd take on like 8 to 9 teams and never be able to touch a box. Like just never be able to touch a box. Literally always getting third party. Felt like we needed to run like what we were running right here. Felt like we needed to run like Gibraltar Bangalore so we could throw down the Gibraltar shield, put down Bangalore smokes too, just to be able to loot. And that was pretty frustrating. So that is like one of the issues with duos, right? Is that it's 2-player teams, right? But there's more teams, so it just ends up being more third partying, and the third partying in this mode, it is pretty frustrating. So I like that they added duos in, and if there are a lot of times where I only have one friend on, and if I don't have one friend on, I'm probably not playing Apex. So there are a lot of times where I only have one friend on. Now I'll have the chance to play duos, and that's great. Is duos going to become my main after trios? After last night, I don't know. I still like duos, but man, some of the things that like were already frustrating in trios were actually just like magnified in duos, or just multiplied. Like just the third partying. Instead of getting third partied like by 2 teams, you get third partied by like 6 teams, which is like 12 players instead of 6 players. And just like not being able to get loot, not having enough loot because you can't loot. Just a lot of those issues that I already had with trios were being magnified. Again, I'm going to try it more. It might have just been really unlucky. We did have a lot of bad luck that night, especially on landings. There were so many landings where, we'd land to get like a white shield, person next to us gets like a golden R9. We wouldn't even have a gun. I'm not even exaggerating this again. You can watch the VOD. I don't know what it was. Just the worst sesh in forever. So I'm going to give it another shot for sure. Maybe I'll post an updated video. Maybe it's not that bad, but for some reason when we played it, man, it was tough. It was tough. So I would like to reevaluate duos at some point. As for now, I think that I'll play it obviously when I can, when I only have one friend on, but other than that, I don't think I'm going to go crazy over duos. I still think I'd rather prefer to play trios after what I experienced last night. This may change in the future. But anyways, that was a huge like duos discussion right there. Let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this update. I talked about the map rotation. Thoughts on the map rotation? I am a little torn on the map rotation. On the one hand, it's better than nothing. Like, I'm glad that it's there. I'm glad that there's a way to play the other maps now. That's something that I've wanted since they added in a new map. So I'm glad that that's a thing. On the other hand, though, it's like, I still just want to be able to... That was the most amazing bullet dodges out of that lifeline, by the way. I still can't believe that. I still want to be able to just play the maps that I want to play. and the rotation doesn't do that, you know. And I'm thinking about people that don't have as much time to play. Like, what if there's a person that only gets on, you know, they have they work a certain job, they have to go out, you know, do certain things before they get home, whatever. Like, they only have, like, let's say, like 2 hours of free time to play, and that 2 hours of free time is lined up on a map that they don't like. Like, that kind of sucks. And I know there's only going to be like so many cases like that, but in general, I think everybody wouldn't mind being able to choose the map that they wanted to play, right? Like, there may be only certain cases where someone can only have the time to play a certain map. That's going to be pretty rare. But at the same time, everybody's going to have a map preference, right? Like, everybody, you know, you may not mind playing all the maps, but everybody's going to have a preference. And I think everybody wouldn't mind getting to choose their preference here. And that's my frustrating thing with it right now, is that there are times where, like, again, Kings Canyon After Dark, I didn't like the visibility on it. I thought it was fun for the zombie mode, but there were times where with the skins people were running, I legitimately could not see them indoors. And I was like, man, I don't want to play this. And then we were playing duos on World's Edge, and like, it was kind of slow. And I was like, well, I don't want to play this. I'd rather play it on regular Kings Canyon. But then we get Kings Canyon After Dark or World's Edge. So it's like, all right, we're not going to play duos for a little bit. Like, I don't know. I want to just be able to choose. I wish you could just choose. Be like, I want to queue into Kings Canyon. And if they add that in and somehow player count becomes an issue, just wait for crossplay. I believe they've already stated that they're working on crossplay. Like, when crossplay comes out, that's going to negate the whole thing, right? Like, I don't think that's going to be an issue once crossplay comes around. So, I don't know. I just wish, this is just the thing with games in general. I just want more choice for the player, and it just really sucks. It just really sucks that you can't choose that. It'd be really nice to be able to play on the map that I want to play on the time that I want to play it. Again, better than nothing, but it's just frustrating. As far as it goes, they mentioned adding in solos, and they mentioned that part of the reason duos got added in is that solos actually negatively impacted the game, which honestly doesn't really surprise me that much. I don't think solos works. This game is inherently built to be a team-based game. I think duos is, well, you know, obviously, duos is the lowest you can go. I don't think solos works in this game. I completely skipped the solo event, to be honest, but I did play the whole zombie thing, and to be fair, that was basically, you know, before the zombies started to stack up, it was basically solos at the start, and I felt the same way. I've always felt that solos wouldn't work, and after putting it into practice and trying it out, solos doesn't work. It's just not made for this game. This game, the character abilities and stuff like that, is just entirely built around being a team-based game. So I'm not too mad about them not including solos. And if they don't include solos for the regular ever, I wouldn't mind that. I don't think it fits the game. Maybe there are some people, probably freaking streamers or something, that are like frustrated with that. But I just don't think it fits the game. The solos is not for this game. It doesn't need to be in it. So fine by me. If we want to talk about the actual, like, Bloodhound thing, they added in like a new Bloodhound focused location with like this weird thing in it with, like, you can fight these AI monsters, look like the things from Titanfall 2, and you can like get better loot off of fighting them or something like that, like surviving them. It's like a fight pit. I don't know. It's kind of cool. I haven't really gotten to try it out yet because, you know, it's still early and there's still like 30 people. I'm not even trolling, like 30 people landing there every game, and it's just dumb. I hate when it's like that because it's just like, it's literally just like complete luck. I like hot drops, but a hot drop like that is just a joke. It's just like a waste of time. So I haven't really gotten to try out that too much, so I can't really say too much. But, you know, in a couple days when it starts to chill down and people don't land there as much, I'll try it out and see how it is. It sounds cool. And to me it looks like they added it in a pretty sensible location, actually, in the World's Edge map, like a location that only had like 2 zip lines, that added a 3rd zip line to get up there. So that's pretty cool. I like that they added an extra route to get up to that location, an extra area for the team that camps up there. You know, in ranked games, pretty often that ranked games get to that location, an extra area for them to have to watch. I think that's pretty cool. They added it in a really good spot. And also they added in one of those like prize tracker things or whatever you want to call it, like the same thing where you get like the certain amount of points, and every like 1,000 points you get a reward. And that's all fine and dandy. Like, the rewards in that are cool. I like when they add those in. Like, these events are fun. And yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, that's all cool. No issue there. The longbow skin is sweet. Some of the Bloodhound cosmetics and stuff that you get are cool for Bloodhound players. Yeah, cool event. I'm all hyped for that stuff. That's all fine. Now let's go to the balance changes. I'm not really too sure about a lot of these balance changes, to be honest with you. One thing is that the Scout got hit with a pretty significant nerf on reducing like the headshot damage. making the leg shot damage worse, and reducing the projectile speed as well. I don't think that the Scout really needed this nerf. The Scout was certainly a little overpowered, I would say, in Season 3, but after it's already nerfed, that it got in Season 4, I thought it was fine in Season 4. It was in a good spot where it was not like OP, but it was strong, definitely competitive. I don't think it's going to be not competitive after this nerf, but I don't think it was necessary. L-Star. L-Star resets its view kick pattern. Basically, fix the L-Star recoil to make it seem less random with the way that people tend to fire it. And they also reduce the time before the overheat. I guess that's like maybe to fix the people that like feather it or whatever. I don't know, fine with those changes. L-Star's in like a fine spot. I don't think those changes make too much of a difference. Seems fine there, that's okay. Kraber, increased headshot damage multiplier. That's awesome because now everybody's dying with a headshot. There were situations before where characters, Gibraltar, with like purple red shield or whatever, I'm not sure if it was purple or red, to be honest. It might even be both. Could live with a Kraber headshot, which just doesn't make sense. Okay, I think it says here that it was level 3 helmet and the red shield. Okay, so that's, I mean, to be fair, you'd have to get pretty stacked to be able to live through that, but still, just the fact that there was a way you could set up a character to live through a Kraber headshot kind of defeats the purpose of the Kraber. So that was really dumb. I like that change. That's a good change. Not going to make a huge difference because the Kraber doesn't see a lot of play, especially on console. Play on console, but, you know, still a good change. Sniper ammo. I got to rail through here, get into the end of this game. Sniper ammo. Reduced ammo per pickup from 10 to 8. Reduced inventory stack size from 20 to 16. That change makes no sense to me. Snipers are becoming less and less and less in favor. I thought it was fine before. I don't think they needed to make this nerf to the sniper ammo. It makes 0 sense to me. Low profile. This is probably the biggest issue for me in this update. Low profile limb shots on low profile legends. So if you don't know about legends with the low profile tag, that's like Pathfinder, Lifeline, I think Watson, Wraith, maybe another one. So like legends with the smaller hitboxes have low profile, which means that incoming damage I think does 15% more damage to these legends. And now on top of that, limb shots, so like leg shots, deal as much damage as body shots on these legends. I do not like this at all. If anything, I honestly thought that like Gibraltar and Caustic and the freaking Fat Boys, I thought that they needed an adjustment instead of the low profile characters. I do tend to play low profile legends, so maybe I'm biased, but I don't know. I've experimented with Gibraltar and Caustic as well, and after my experimentation, I just didn't think that it seemed fair with this update. If anything, I thought those fortified characters needed an adjustment. I don't think this is necessary in any way, and I don't think it makes sense. I just don't think it makes sense. I think this is overtuned. I think that they should just completely revert that, and I think this is going to make playing those low profile legends a lot more frustrating until they make another change to it. Really hate that. That's probably the worst change in the update, to be honest. That's why I'm playing Bangalore here, not just the loot thing, but I wanted to play a character without low profile that still had a good hitbox. It's just really frustrating. Going through it quickly, a lot of buffs to Revenant. They made his ability better. They made his ultimate better. They got low profile off of Revenant. Fantastic, love that. Revenant was not very good for like the longest time. It took him like the entire season to buff him, but they finally did it, and I think Revenant is in a good spot now, and he is at least like, you can at least run him, which is cool. And removing low profile was great, considering they ruined low profile characters in this update, so it's good that they did that, because Revenant's always got melted, and they would have got melted even harder. Lifeline, they gave Lifeline a new passive. There's these new bins that are blue, and with those blue bins, if you're Lifeline and you open them, you get some extra loot. Does it make a huge difference? I don't really think so, but, you know, it's neat. It's cool. They did a little nerf to Wraith portals, which doesn't make sense to me. They made it so that after 4 seconds, if both ends of the portal are outside of the circle, it disappears. This makes 0 sense to me because you're still able to use it. Your team just has to stack it, and there's plenty of time to stack the portal before it pops. So it doesn't help you rotating out of a zone, like deep in the zone. Maybe it helps people like harassing outside of the zone in pubs. That's maybe the only thing it does. Across the board, they reduced the amount of damage it requires to evolve Evo shields. That's cool. Evo shields were a little overtuned before. Maybe you'll see more use now. Increase the total amount of loot on Kings Canyon. I think that's fantastic. Kings Canyon just did not have enough loot for some reason, and that was really frustrating, so I think that's good, and Kings Canyon should play better now. And that pretty much rounds it out. So, like, final thoughts here. Gameplay ended. Sorry about that. But final thoughts here. Overall, I think that limb shot thing really brings this update down. I think that full-time duos and like the map rotation, not perfect, but a big step forward. And overall, I'm kind of like in the middle on this update. I think it's like really close to being a major step forward for the game, but there were some other really frustrating things about it. One thing I forgot to mention the entire video is that my friends that I played with were having, and myself were having issues, performance issues on Xbox the entire time. The entire time that we played, Matt lagged out, or his game crashed. His game crashed like 6 times. Like 6 times. Like, that's like once an hour. That was ridiculous. Jared's servers kept timing out. And it was putting us into ranked games because people kept lagging out and we were ready up and they'd lag out and then we'd get thrown into a ranked queue and we'd have to play a ranked game with a solo. Ranked, when you play ranked, every time you play a ranked game it resets and goes back to trios, so you have to click ranked again. And also people were skipping I don't know if there's any like huge instances of it in that gameplay, but people were skipping the entire time. Enemies that I was going against were skipping across the map and I was rubber banding the entire night. My internet was fine. I tried other games, my internet was fine. It was not my issue. It was happening to me, it was happening to other people, it was happening to people in my squad. We were getting the skips on top of the rubber bands. I don't know what they did performance-wise for Xbox, but performance-wise for Xbox, this is the worst update in a long time. And my bad. It sucks to end the video on such a negative note, but I forgot to bring it up the whole video. It is awful. It is back to, if Xbox players remember, like beginning of Season 4, it is just as bad as that. And they really need to get on that because that is the biggest thing stopping this update. I don't think this update would be that bad if it weren't for the performance issues. I think that brings it down a ton for me. That is what makes it a bad update in my opinion, is the performance issues just outweigh every other positive in it, which sucks because after looking through it, there's a decent amount of stuff that doesn't make sense, but there's also a decent amount of positives in there. Revenant got buffed. Let's end the video on a positive note. Revenant is playable now. New Apex update, kind of in the middle. Once they fix those Xbox performance issues, which I'm sure they will, I think it'll be a lot better and a lot more enjoyable. And I'm looking forward to see what they do because I think this could be a really big update for the game once they get those performance issues under control, because that is just ridiculous at the moment. Let me know what you guys think about the update, and I'll see you next time.